This is a brief orientation created by the Client Health and Wellness Program designed to give you a basic understanding of trauma, its potential impact on NSC staff and systems, as well as tools to take care of yourself, your clients, and our agency together. The vision and mission of any organization serves as a guide for the everyday work. Our collective vision is that all immigrants and refugees achieve a life of dignity, safety, stability, sustainable opportunities, and meaningful connections to their communities. The NSC mission is that Nationality Service Center prepares and empowers immigrants and refugees in the Philadelphia region to transcend challenging circumstances by providing comprehensive, client-centered services to build a solid foundation for a self-sustaining and dignified future. Please familiar yourself with each of these and make it an intention to bring the spirit of both the vision and mission to your everyday work. Nationality Service Center works with people from all over the world. We serve refugees and asylees, who are people who respectively have been granted or are seeking refuge in this country, quote, owing to a well-founded fear of persecution for reasons of race, religion, or nationality. In other words, these are people who are seeking refuge because based on some personal quality, they have a well-founded fear of being harmed. NSC also works with immigrants, some of whom have legal status, some of whom do not. Some immigrants have immigrated by choice, while others have come to flee abject poverty and/or systemic violence. Under these broad categories, NSC offers specialized programs for unaccompanied minors, that is, youth who immigrate without a guardian or caregiver. We work with survivors of torture, those individuals who have suffered and survived torture, as well as victims and survivors of trafficking, people exploited in sex and labor trafficking. It's most important to remember that whichever category or program NSC clients fall under, first and foremost, they are human beings just like us. They are mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, daughters, and sons. People who have likely survived atrocities that might be truly unimaginable or unspeakable for most. Finally, in the spirit of assisting clients to make meaningful connections in their communities, we must work with the larger community in order to support Philadelphia in becoming a welcoming place for our clients. Most, if not all, of NSC's clients have experienced profound adversity. Conceptualizations of trauma vary, but generally speaking, trauma is typically understood by mental health professionals as an event that causes a person to experience fear, helplessness, powerlessness, and/or rage that floods the central nervous system. Because these emotions are so powerful, they can feel shattering, leaving a person to dissociate, that is, psychologically escape the event, or to avoid thinking about the event at all. While these self-protection strategies can be useful in the short term, they frequently leave the individual unable to process the event, so that then fragmented memories unpredictably resurface in the future, which leaves the individual in a constant state of fear that they may re-experience the shattering, terrifying event at any time. This is the experience behind post-traumatic stress disorder, which is formally defined as exposure to violence that causes intrusive memories, such as flashbacks and nightmares, avoidance, and a continued sense of inner chaos and helplessness. As many of our clients come from countries plagued with the consequences of conflict and war, systemic violence, abject poverty, and human exploitation, it's safe to say that many of our clients have experienced traumatic events. It's important to note, however, that this does not mean that the majority of NSC's clients would meet all of the criteria for a post-traumatic stress diagnosis. What it does mean is that with all of their wounds, they are here, they have survived, they have a tremendous resilience. This very strength, this motivation for survival, can also become maladaptive, sometimes leaving people with rigid beliefs or behaviors, a distrust of others, difficulty feeling safe, and/or experiencing survivor's guilt, which are all related to negative beliefs about oneself, such as "I don't deserve to be safe," or resistance to growth and adaptation. Working with clients who have survived adversity and traumatic experiences can be rewarding, in that NSC Direct Service workers often are a witness to incredible resilience, persistence, and accomplishment. Support staff can also offer a corrective experience for our clients by simply being a kind, caring human being that challenges negative trauma-distorted beliefs about humankind. At the same time, there are additional stress-related risks. You've already been introduced to the concepts and risks related to stress and burnout, but compassion fatigue and vicarious trauma are additional terms that NSC Direct Service staff and other affiliates should know. While sometimes used interchangeably, compassion fatigue refers to a stress response typically including physical and emotional exhaustion that results from caregiving work, caring too much. While burnout largely affects people at work, compassion fatigue can trickle into your personal life, making compassion and empathy with others difficult. It's also important to realize that many people who go into helping professions are themselves, quote, wounded healers, unquote, and are at a special risk for vicarious trauma. Working with traumatized clients may bring up your own vulnerabilities and, if unattended to, may leave you at risk for developing trauma-related symptoms, both physiological, such as hypervigilance or avoidance through excessive sleep or alcohol abuse, and cognitive, for example, believing that you can't trust others, that no one understands, or feeling generally hopeless. How does vicarious trauma happen? Well, all human beings have an innate neurological ability to catch and feel another's emotions. This is one reason why people get caught up in TV shows and movies. We are vicariously sharing a life experience, an emotional experience with a character. When working with clients, it's likely that you will catch and feel their emotions in a similar but often less comfortable way. For example, a client may become angry with an NSC support person. The support person may catch their anger without realizing it and begin to feel angry. The support person, again without realizing it, may release the anger in hostile language or behavior. The client, in return, catches and feels this anger, and their own anger increases, leading to escalation. Client and the support person are now both feeling angry and chaotic. Over time, continued experiences such as these can leave staff feeling chronically exhausted, hypervigilant, waiting for the next incident, unsafe, hopeless, and helpless. The consequences of emotional contagion and vicarious trauma are that professionals can be led by emotion and therefore be reactive to situations rather than be led by grounded, rational, responsive stance. This can lead to a constant putting out fires experience, leaving one feeling helpless and overwhelmed. This can also create an unpredictable, emotionally volatile experience for our clients and can be re-traumatizing, confirming trauma-distorted beliefs that the world is not safe and that people are untrustworthy. Dr. Sandra Bloom is a psychiatrist and faculty member at Drexel University's School of Public Health. She has focused her work around the phenomenon of parallel process and has written numerous books and facilitates many trainings of organizational-wide trauma-informed care. She proposes that just as emotion may be caught and felt from client to staff, that staff may also pass on emotions to coworkers, supervisors, and supervisees through daily interactions. She believes that ultimately an organization can be at risk for similar trauma-related symptoms and become a source of re-traumatization for clients. We all must work together to ensure that this does not happen to Nationality Service Center. No matter what your profession and role here at NSC, you have been hired because you have something to contribute towards the vision and mission of our organization. We cannot let the effects of trauma interrupt that. This is why self-protection and general prevention are so critical. In order to prevent these stress-related risks, it's important to be familiar with trauma and trauma-informed care. Please take advantage of NSC's professional development opportunities during your time here. It's equally important to be open to the idea that you can be at risk, as well as to cultivate a sense of self-awareness. What are your vulnerabilities? How in touch are you with your feelings? What is your daily stress level? Work on developing a stance of curiosity. Where is this emotion coming from? What could be going on with my client or coworker? Practice setting healthy limits and boundaries. Establish professional goals. Create a work-life balance. Let others know what you expect. Finally, it's important to make a commitment to developing your own resilience. Resilience is something we typically think about in the context of our clients, but it's also important to think about the resilience in ourselves. The most important factor in resilience is relationships. This means that people grow, heal, and thrive in supportive relationships. Some of our work here at NSC is about helping clients to make meaningful connections in the community. Similarly, take a moment to consider your own support network. How can you expand it? A capacity for planning is another protective factor, something the case managers tried to build in our clients. How about your own capacity for planning? What are your professional goals? What do you need to get accomplished each day? Communication is another important resiliency factor. NSC offers language proficiency and access services to our clients so that they can better navigate our society. Think about your own communication skills, both with clients and with staff. How can we speak to one another more effectively? Problem-solving skills is yet another factor. Our attorneys assist their clients in developing strategies for problem-solving every day. When things seem hopeless, how can you work with your colleagues to engage in problem-solving? Self-regulation, or the ability to manage one's emotions, is essential to resilience. The Critical Incident Responder team here at NSC tries to help clients with managing big emotions. How are we managing ours? What can we do to stay grounded in stressful situations? And finally, having and building a positive view of oneself increases capacity for resilience. Through art therapy groups and community building, NSC nurtures this in our clients. It's equally important that we're doing this for each other and for ourselves. Acknowledge your challenges and your accomplishments. Finally, it's a good idea to familiarize yourself with the above-listed self-assessment questions found on the Road to Resilience handout of the American Psychological Association. These questions and a regular self-check-in will help you to be in touch with your capacity for resilience and to know how you can harness it. We're thrilled that you're here as part of the NSC team. It is expected that you will use these orientations in order to incorporate self-care into your work life. It is recommended that you develop a self-care plan, engage in regular self-reflection, and work toward building a sense of professional self-awareness. You and your well-being are important. Your well-being is also important to your clients and to our organization. NSC asks that you make a commitment to the preservation of our culture by working with integrity, or doing what you say and saying what you'll do, affinity, or a general sense of kindness towards others, empathy, taking an intentional stance of curiosity and compassion, respect, and responsibility. Please take care of yourself, your clients, and our agency. We can do this together.